Here's your wrestling news for January 8th, 2022. And your headlines for today include: did WWE announce WrestleMania's main event on Smackdown? Roman Reigns' next challenger confirmed. WWE slams open Forbidden Door by announcing reigning Impact Champion for Royal Rumble. More backstage details on the release of Samoa Joe. Where will he go next? Former WWE Champion favorite to win men's Royal Rumble match. Top SmackDown superstar could be out for a very long time due to major neck surgery. WWE gives up war over Trademark with two-time Hall of Famer. William Regal breaks silence following WWE release, and more. We're kicking off with Smackdown, which this week marked the return of Universal Champion Roman Reigns in his first appearance following his positive test. Opening the show, Reigns said two people he didn't want to see ever again are Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and on cue, the new WWE Champion and his advocate appeared. Earning a huge ovation from the crowd, Lesnar threw down the challenge for a champion versus champion match, with the winner etching their name in history as the first person to ever hold the WWE and Universal titles simultaneously. This match has been speculated on ever since Lesnar became WWE Champion at Day 1, and with the plan for the two to still face off at WrestleMania 38, which was what WWE had in store prior to Day 1, it could happen indeed. With that said, Reigns was quick to decline the match, saying he won't do business with someone who does business with Heyman, but we're confident this match will happen, possibly with both titles involved. A brief interruption by Heyman, who was still torn between the two, gave Reigns enough of an opening to rock the Beast with a Superman punch, in a shot that we expect to be the first of many between the two in 2022. Late in the show, it was announced that Reigns will defend his title at the Royal Rumble, but not against Lesnar, but instead it'll be Seth Rollins who steps up to the Tribal Chief. We are sure the two will put on an epic match later this month, and if WWE swerves everyone by having the proposed Reigns-Lesnar Mania match for the WWE title instead, it could be the Architect who ends the incredible reign of the head of the table. Earlier this week, we reported on a major issue for the Women's Royal Rumble, as there are only 16 eligible female superstars on the roster. To fix this, WWE has roped in several former WWE superstars, with a total 18 names announced during last night's SmackDown, but none were more shocking than Mickie James. Not only was James released last year, but she is the reigning Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, a fact that Pat McAfee pointed out on commentary. Fans have been questioning how an Impact contracted wrestler can appear in the Women's Royal Rumble match, and on Twitter, Sean Ross Sapp clarified that despite being their reigning women's champion, Mickie James isn't signed to a full-time contract with the company. Returning to Impact in July 2021 at their Slammiversary event, James has worked for 6 months now without a deal to her name, and this has led to WWE opening their own Forbidden Door to bring one of the all-time greats back for the Women's Royal Rumble match. Yesterday, we reported on the release of Samoa Joe, who was cut by WWE for the second time in under a year. Released in early 2021 before being re-signed by Triple H, it's believed that his second release was a part of an effort to deconstruct the era of NXT that the game oversaw. We now know more about how this latest departure happened, as according to Fightful, Joe wasn't bitter about being cut from the company again. One source within WWE said that Joe handled his release as professionally as possible, and given the past few years, which saw him be released once before and spend a year out of action due to a concussion suffered during a commercial taping for Raw, reacting as well as he did is easier said than done. There is also a sentiment within WWE that Joe will wrestle again now that he's gone, in spite of the company's belief that his in-ring days were over. There's no word yet on what Joe has planned for his future or what kind of non-compete clause he's under, but the future looks very interesting for the three-time NXT champion. We don't know where Joe will wrestle next or if he'll wrestle at all, but the former superstar won't be out of a job for long. Fightful Select has reported that several independent promotions are already considering Joe's services, with 4 established indie bookers letting Fightful know that they'd like to work with him. We imagine AEW will also make a play to sign Joe, and Impact, where Joe made his name as a former world champion, would no doubt love to bring him back. Although the newly free agent is proving to be popular, it'll ultimately be his decision as to what comes next, but the possibilities are endless for Samoa Joe should he choose to pursue them. Now, 2021 was a huge year for Big E, who held the Intercontinental Championship, Money in the Bank contract, and WWE title all within 12 months. Big E's reign came to an end at Day 1 when a positive test by Roman Reigns led to Brock Lesnar being added to the WWE Championship match and pinning the New Day alum to win the gold. That wasn't what WWE had originally planned, but now we have a better picture of what the original idea was for Big E's reign and how it was meant to end. We've previously reported that Seth Rollins was meant to be the man to end Big E's reign, and during Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that Big E was the favorite to win the Men's Royal Rumble match, setting up a rematch for WrestleMania 38. Meltzer added that the WWE title match is expected to headline one night of this year's two-night WrestleMania, but it appears that the Big E vs. Seth Rollins plan is a distant memory. With Lesnar teasing a champion versus champion match this week, we'll have to see what the WWE title match ultimately is at WrestleMania, but there was a time when Big E was going to headline the biggest show of the year. Drew McIntyre knows all about winning the Royal Rumble and the WWE Championship, but the Scottish Warrior is out of action for the time being. At Day 1, McIntyre was written off TV with a backstage attack by Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, and it was later reported that Drew's neck injury is legitimate. In an update from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's noted that McIntyre will be undergoing a full medical evaluation soon, and while the WWE hope it's not serious, he may require serious neck surgery. If so, this would jeopardize a lot of WWE's plans, as Drew is one of the very few names considered a legitimate opponent to Roman Reigns. Losing McIntyre to surgery would also mean his feud with Corbin and Moss would immediately end and that he'd be out of the Royal Rumble. We won't know for sure what the plan with McIntyre is until after this medical evaluation, but this is an especially bad time for WWE to lose one of their biggest stars. Throughout her WWE career, Becky Lynch has earned plenty of monikers, but there's a reason why Big Time Bex isn't being called the Man anymore. For years, that nickname has been the source of controversy, with Ric Flair claiming that his catchphrase, "To be the man, you've got to beat the man," showing that he earns the rights to the nickname. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it appears that WWE has given up the legal battle to keep the Man nickname, which explains why this name has been dropped by commentary whenever Lynch is on TV. On his podcast, Flair said that he owns the rights now and claimed that this is why Lynch isn't called the Man anymore. Lynch was called the Man for years as a babyface and made serious money in merchandise as the Man, but it seems that the fight with the Nature Boys attorneys ended badly for the reigning Raw Women's Champion. And we're ending today with William Regal, who was cut from WWE this week after a 21-year run with the company. Many fans and wrestlers alike have been shocked to see Regal released, but the former Intercontinental Champion has now broken his silence. Speaking for the first time since his firing, Regal thanked WWE for an incredible run, and addressing his first tenure with the company in the late 90s, said that the WWE saved his life when they didn't need to. At the time, Regal was dealing with several problems and has claimed he can't remember one moment from his time as Real Man's Man Steven Regal. Ever the gentleman, Regal said that nobody should waste their time waiting for him to say something bad about WWE, as it simply won't happen, and we have to commend the British wrestling legend for handling his release with such dignity. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.